Thank you for joining me for another Tuesday tidbit. I cooked today and I am pretty excited about that, but that's not why I'm holding this plate. I'm holding this plate to illustrate this one important question that I want to ask you. So, what's on your plate? Like, that's the question. In a 24-hour day, what's on your plate? What's on your plate? Some of you would really say, I wake up in the morning, I have to get dressed, got to get the kids dressed, got to make them some breakfast, got to get lunch together. This week, I'm the carpool person, or this day, I'm the carpool person. Got to drop some folk off. Got a senior parent that I check on. Got someone who's in a hospital or other facility, need to go check on them. I need to run some errands. I've been trying to go by the mailbox. Got to go by there. Got to return emails, return texts, make some phone calls. I'm a business owner. I have a whole lot of stuff that I got to do with my business. Man, I got that teacher-parent conference, got a football game, choir concert, pep rally to go to. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. I'm the one that's over the ministry. I'm supposed to contact all of my ministry workers today. Got to plan a whole event. I'm the employee. I need to check in with my supervisor or my employer. I have a host of things to do when I get to work. You get it? I need to call my sister back. I need to call my mama back. Like, what's on your plate? What do you do? I need to go gas up the car. I need to make groceries or at least order groceries. I need to wash the car. Gotta take those pets for a walk. Anybody putting some dittos and check marks because you know that's you? Like, all of that is on your plate in any given 24-hour period. Now, I want you to lean in with me just a little bit more. And I want to ask you, in the midst of all of this, what's on your plate? I want to say, who's on your plate? So if there are some people who you know without a shadow of a doubt, they're on your plate because they get your time in any given day. If that's your daughter, if that's your son, if that's your spouse, if that's your employer, if that's your employees, like, really fit them in somewhere on your plate. Put them somewhere on your list. Who and what is on your plate? Now, I know just in trying to illustrate this point, my throat, I become just a little bit exhausted talking about it. Like, in any given 24-hour period, we manage a lot of things on our plate. So here is my final and more serious question. If you just lean with me just a little bit more. To each of us, when we pause for a moment and we look at our plate, did you put you on your plate? In the midst of all of that you have to do, did you put you on your plate? Why is that question so critical? Why am I emphasizing it in this Tuesday tidbit as we talk about mind shields? A shield is something that protects, right? And so when I say mind shield, I mean protecting my mind. I mean doing what is necessary to ensure my mental wellness. Well, in light of the level to which mental wellness has surfaced both to a national and global dialogue, we need to be intentional about ensuring, doing the necessary steps to make sure that our minds are protected and that we are mentally well. The people that we see that's recently being flashed across the news, written about in articles, or even in our own circles, who delve into deep depression, who delve into anxiety and worry and all of that, into the extremes even of suicide. They're everyday people, oftentimes just like you and I. And I want to say this carefully. Whatever walk of faith you're in, many of them are even believers, right? So I'm saying that so that no one excludes themselves or counts themselves exempt. We see people from every gamut, every facet of life, and every facet of belief who are struggling in areas with their minds. And so here is my tangible tip that I want to share about putting mind shields in place and doing the things that are necessary to make sure that we are mentally well. It's an acronym called S.C.A.N. S.C.A.N. That's the acronym. S.C.A.N. And that acronym stands for See, Consider, Adjust Now. See, consider, adjust now. Adjust when? Now. So here's the concept. Many of us are familiar with the airplane example in which people say, if there ever was to be an emergency, put on your own air mask first before trying to help others so that you can first save yourself before trying to save someone else. We get that, right? We understand the concept of that. I want us to lean in a little bit more on that example though and say this to you. Long before though that we're on the airline and they're giving us that safety procedure speech, you can best believe that someone has scanned the airplane and ensured that the air masks are in place long before they tell us to reach for it during a place of emergency. Someone has already seen, considered, and adjusted now as it relates to making sure that air masks are above every passenger's seat. I believe that is a very valuable analogy that we can put in place in our own lives. We can see, consider, adjust now. With this premise in mind, hopefully never for us as it relates to airplanes, but with this premise in mind as it relates to life. It's not if an accident occurs, it's when life happens. Because life will happen to us all. Life happens to us all. And in the same way that someone has scanned the airplane to ensure that air masks are in place long before passengers are in those seats, we can scan our lives, we can scan our schedules, we can scan our seasons, we can scan patterns, and really kind of consider what's up the road for me so that I can ensure that an air mask is in place when life happens. So for example, the tangible way that that looks even in my life right now, I have something pretty major on the horizon that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Long before I got to this stage of that project, I talked to my assistant who's helping me, and I said, I want to be intentional about the weeks leading up to that event. I'm going to not put as much on my schedule so that I have the mental capacity and the physical duration to be able to be well for that particular event. That's seeing, considering, and adjusting now based on what I knew was coming, so that I'm not hectic and panicky and running all around with my, just doing too much because I've not considered what's ahead and put my air mask in place. I hope you're still tracking with me so far. The S.C.A.N acronym was just used through the lens of examining our schedule, but I also want to again say you can use that same acronym for other areas of your life. For example, you may use the S.C.A.N acronym to look at your patterns, perhaps like during the holiday season, right? For some of us, if you're like myself, you lost a loved one during the holiday season. You can scan right now, see, consider, adjust now, based on how that season impacts your mind and impacts your emotion. If it causes you to have heavy, depressive type of thoughts or go deep into grief in your mind and into a low place in your mind and in your emotions, you can think ahead right now, scan right now, and begin to adjust accordingly so that your Thanksgivings and your Christmases can be a bit better. You can use S.C.A.N to even look at the seasons or the seasons or the patterns of your life. For example, if you are in sales, then sales is normally very busy during the holiday season or end of year. You can determine right now that I am going to need every bit of my mental peace and rest so that I can interact with my customers appropriately. So during that time, I'm going to be a bit more careful about who I allow into my space. So that's kind of layering right now, looking ahead at my seasons and patterns, and then looking ahead at the people who have access to my life and adjusting so that I shield my mind from unnecessary worry. And I want to give us permission to do that in the same way sometimes that we can look at our cell phones and kind of get tickled when different folk are calling and we say, not right now. We actually sometimes need to apply that same concept when it comes to our everyday lives. We need to sometimes think ahead and really say, not right now, okay? And it is okay to do that. So with the S.C.A.N acronym, you can look at your schedules, you can look at your patterns, you can look at your emotions during various seasons or experiences. You can look at people. You can even look at the unrealistic demands that you put on yourself. That's a huge one for me. Kind of scanning ahead and seeing, girl, you have this coming and this coming and this coming. So why don't you say you're going to do this big old thing over here? Being okay with releasing yourself from that, with seeing, considering, and adjusting right now instead of getting to that deadline and then beating yourself up because you didn't make it. If you just looked ahead, you would realize it's unrealistic for me to expect myself to make it to that point. So that's how the S.C.A.N acronym can be applied in various areas of our lives. We really do need to see, consider, adjust now. So back to the original question. Are you on your plate? Well, the tangible tip, the acronym S.C.A.N, see, consider, adjust now, that I just shared with you, that is a way to help ensure that you keep you on your plate. I know we can all get to running and doing a whole lot, but if you don't put you on your plate, if you don't prioritize you on your plate, who's going to do that? Yeah. So think about it. As always, I'm asking you to go ahead and subscribe. And more so, as always, I honor the greatness that's in you. Take care.